What's the pettiest thing you've ever done in the military or as a first responder? I'll go first. I was a master at arms in the Navy, which is basically military police. We just have a special name for it. So one Sunday morning, I was about to get off a night shift in about a half hour, and I was sitting at a little cutout where I could see 3 different stop signs to make sure that everyone was obeying the signs and actually coming to a full and complete stop. I also want to make a point that in my 5 years in the Navy, I gave out exactly 4 traffic citations of my own volition. I'm not counting parking violations and traffic accidents. I was forced to do that. But of my own discretion, I gave out only 4 citations. If anyone's keeping track, that's less than 1 a year. So as I'm sitting there, I see an SUV across the intersection, not stop fully, turn in front of me and head down the main drag. I didn't think it was a big deal, but I thought, hell with it, I'm getting off in a half hour, this will use up my time. I turn after him, flip my lights on, and pull him over. So as per our policy, when I pulled him over, I called in his plate information and waited on it to come back. While I was waiting, I see his window roll down, his arm comes up like this, like what the hell is taking so long? And I thought, I've got a half hour. I'm not in a rush. It only took about 2 minutes for dispatch to radio back and tell me his last name, first name, and that he was a civilian contractor, so I figured I'd go up and introduce myself. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever seen Super Troopers, but there's a couple scenes where people get messed with during traffic stops, and I didn't meow at the guy, but I talked as slow as I could without making it seem awkward. The bonus, however, was it was the safety officer of the base who I pulled over for running a stop sign, and he was none too pleased that I pulled him over on a Sunday morning on his way to church, where all the other parishioners could see him pulled over by a unit with his lights running. This was my first interaction with a male Karen, and it was definitely memorable because the first line out of his mouth was, "Do you know who I am, and what gives you the right to pull me over?" I was tired, I was grumpy, I was over-caffeinated, I was the right hand of God that was going to smite him where he sat. My replies to his questions are as follows. No, sir, do you know who I am? And the right is given to me by the commanding officer of the base. Are you familiar with him, sir? He immediately backtracked and tried to negotiate to get me to turn my lights off so that it was less noticeable to the passerby, and I told him that it was our base policy that our lights stay on during all traffic stops to notify all units in the area of our actions. This pissed him off a little bit more, and he told me that he wasn't a threat and he was just some guy going to church. And I told him that, sir, I don't know that you're not a threat and anything can change during any second of a traffic stop. I'm going to abide by our policy, sir. And remember, I was talking about a quarter speed of this, so it was taking forever to get anything done. I read the entire regulation to him when I handed him citation word for word, and he was pissed, and it was glorious. What took me 3 minutes on a regular day took me 30 minutes almost on the dot. Follow-up is he sent a base-wide memo about our interaction, how I followed policy to the letter, and in it he actually admitted guilt to running the stop sign, which was really funny when he had to attend traffic court and explain his actions. I have a copy of the memo somewhere. I really have to frame it.